Hello dear students, after the weekend it's time for revision and today we will revise Unit 3 Water Everywhere. As I have said earlier, these videos are just the compilation of the explanation and the exercises videos. You can go through them individually or you can revise the whole thing together in this video. So let's start with Water Everywhere. Activity 1, Water Boy. Textbook page number 21, Activity 1. This unit is about the water that is necessary for life on our planet. Look at the picture. Write the names of as many objects as you can. What is happening to the water in the picture? This is the picture given. I know you have studied this in science that this is the cycle of water. The objects in the picture are sun, cloud, raindrops. Green portion is to be assumed as nature, plants and trees, and the water is the water sources like lakes or oceans. So what is happening to water? Water is getting evaporated by the heat of sun. After condensing, it is forming in clouds, and after that, as rain, it falls. That rainfall is absorbed by the nature like trees and plants, and again it goes back to the water sources. This is the water cycle. Activity 2 is a story about Water Boy. Vijay liked to play with water. He liked to play with water in many ways. He liked to fill up a big tub with water and play with his toy boat in there. You know what are toy boats? And he liked to fill up big tub with water and played with it. He liked to make big mud puddles in the garden and pretend it was a lake. Puddles are a small pool of usually dirty or muddy water. So he used to make puddles in the garden and pretend it was a lake and act like it was a lake. He liked to open the hose and splash his friends when they walked by. Hose is a long plastic or rubber pipe we use for gardening or spraying water when required. So he used to open the hose and splash his friends when they walked by. His mother told him many times not to waste water, but he did not listen. One day, his mother decided to take him with her to visit her brother. Vijay's uncle stayed in a small village. Vijay was very happy to go because he would be able to play with his cousins. When Vijay did not listen to his mother, she decided to take him to visit her brother, to take Vijay to his mama's place. Vijay's uncle stayed in a small village and Vijay was very happy to go because he would be able to play with his cousins. Vijay and his mother arrived at his uncle's place late at night and Vijay went off to sleep. Suddenly, in the middle of the night, Vijay woke up. There was a lot of noise outside his room. Vijay could not understand why so many people were awake at night, but he was very tired. Very soon, he fell back to sleep. Now they arrived at the village late at night, and as Vijay was tired, he went to sleep. Suddenly, in the middle of night means around between 12 to 3, Vijay woke up. Why did he wake up? Because there was a lot of noise outside his room. Vijay could not understand why so many people were awake at night. But he was very tired. Very soon he fell back to sleep. What do you think will be the reason that there is so much noise going outside at the middle of the night? Do you think there was a robbery or there were thieves? What could be the reason that so many people are awake in the middle of the night? But Vijay could not understand anything. So, and as he was very tired, he went back to sleep. The next morning, Vijay got up and went to the bathroom. When he opened the tap, there was no water. He looked around and found water stored in many buckets. He was surprised and asked his cousin about it. Next morning, when he woke up and went to the bathroom, there was no water in the tap. And when he looked around, he found water stored in buckets. He was not able to understand why water is stored like this and there is no water in the no water is coming from the tap. So he asked his cousin. His cousin Rajesh explained that there was no water anywhere. It had not rained for a couple of years and all the lakes had dried up. They had to depend on some water that come from one tap, and they had to keep awake to see that they did not miss it, as it could come any day and any time. Now his cousin Rajesh explained that there was no water anywhere. In the whole village there was no water. From a couple of years there was no rain, and due to the condition of drought, all the lakes had dried up. People had to depend on some water that came from one tap. One municipal tap was there in the village, and they had to depend on it for water. It may come any time, any day. So last night the water came in the middle of the night, and so they all had gathered to collect water. They could not miss it. Last night, luckily the water had come, but it might be days before it came again. Till then, they would have to only use the water they had collected in the night. Rajesh told Vijay to be careful and not to waste water. If the family ran out of water, they would have to buy water from someone else, and it was very expensive. Rajesh told that last night the water had come, so people had gathered for that, but it might be many days before it came again. Next time when water will come, they don't know. It may be after many days. So they have to use the water carefully and they cannot waste it. If the family ran out of water, to run out of something means when it gets over, when you still need it but you don't have it. So if the family ran out of water, they would have to buy water from someone else. There are companies which provide water, but they charge for it, and it was very expensive. If there is water shortage and people have water, and if they are selling it, they will sell it for high prices. So if they need to buy water, it will be very expensive. Rajesh gave Vijay some examples of ways to use water wisely. He gave Vijay a glass of water and told him to use it for brushing his teeth. He told Vijay to take a bath with a very small amount of water in a bucket. He told Vijay to save the water used for washing his clothes so it could be used again later. Now, when you brush your teeth, normally you turn on the tap, let the tap running while you are brushing your teeth. That way lots of water just goes off the drain. So he gave a glass of water. From that glass you can wash your toothbrush, brush your teeth, and then wash the toothbrush again, and even gargle yourself. He told Vijay to take a bath with a very small amount of water in a bucket. When you take a shower, much more water is wasted than it is used. So, using a bucket will save water. He told Vijay to save the water used for washing his clothes so it could be used again later. The water used for washing clothes, instead of just throwing it away, it can be stored and used again for some other purpose. Vijay was surprised. How can there be a place where there is no water or water is so scarce? So his cousin laughed, who was actually living at that place. Rajesh laughed at him and said that you use too much water every day. Soon there will be less rain. to the deforestation, due to the chemicals, pollution and all those things, there will be lesser rain now. And even in the cities, people may face the same problem that the villagers are facing. So we must learn to save water. That was the chapter Water Boy. Last year also we studied a chapter about water. What the water felt, like why it is being wasted so much. The thing which these chapters want to convey is you should learn. You are young, you are a child. If you encourage or if you cultivate the habit of saving water, it will be helpful for you. So the main thing is save water and save life. That's what the earth needs. That's all for today. We'll do the meanings and exercise in the next class. Meanings. First word, puddle. A small pool of liquid, especially of rainwater on the ground. Second word, hose. A flexible tube conveying water used chiefly for watering plants and in firefighting. In the exercises, first question is fill in the blanks. First, Vijay liked to play with blank. He liked to play with water. Second, he liked to make big blank in the garden and pretend it was a lake. He liked to make big mud puddles. Third, Vijay's uncle stayed in a blank. He stayed in a small village. Fourth, Rajesh said to Vijay, you should learn to blank. Rajesh, Vijay's cousin, said that you should learn to save water. Next exercise is answer the following questions. Question 1. What characters have been mentioned in the story? The characters mentioned in the story are Vijay, the main character, the water boy, his mother, and his cousin Rajesh. They have spoken about his mother's brother and even the villagers, but they are not the characters in the story. Question 2. In what ways did Vijay like to play with water? Answer. Vijay liked to play with water in many ways. He liked to fill up a big tub with water and play with his toy boat in there. He liked to make big mud puddles in the garden and pretend it was a lake. He liked to open the hose and splash his friends when they walked by. You need to remember these points, that he liked to fill up the big tub, he liked to make big mud puddles, and he liked to splash his friends. Question 3. When Vijay did not listen to her mother, what did she do? Answer. When Vijay did not listen to her mother, she decided to take him with her to visit her brother who stayed in a small village. Why did she decide so? Because he can see how people are living where water is not easily available. Question 4. How can we use water wisely? Here are some examples of ways to use water wisely. We can use a glass of water for brushing our teeth. Take 1 glass of water, wash your brush and gargle with it, and then wash the brush with it and get done with it, instead of using the running tap water or keeping it on for the time you brush your teeth. We can take a bath with very small amount of water in a bucket. If water is scarce, you can make do with a small water in a bucket instead of shower. And you should literally skip using a bathtub for it. We can save the water used for washing clothes to be used again later. Water used for washing clothes. When you use a washing machine, huge amount of water is just discharged by it. So you can save it for washing balconies or washing bathrooms or for later purpose as well. Besides this, there are also many ways to use water wisely. You can add any that you like. That was all with the story Water Boy. Water is so important to people that it has inspired art, songs, and poems. Here is a poem about water by Mary Oliver. Mary Oliver is a well known American poet who loves water. She lives near the ocean and writes many simple but beautiful poems about the nature around her. She writes about shore birds, water snakes, humpback whales, the ponds, and the harbor where she likes to take long walks. So now, after the story of Waterboy, it's time for the poem by Mary Oliver. She is an American poet who passed away recently in 2019. At Blackwater Pond. Pond, is smaller than a lake. Let's read. At Blackwater Pond, the tossed waters have settled after a night of rain. I dip my cupped hands. I drink a long time. It tastes like stone lives fire. It falls cold into my body, waking the bones. I hear them deep inside me whispering, "Oh, what is that beautiful thing that just happened?" Now, if you see, the poem uses very simple words and what you can easily understand what the poet wants to convey. She has beautifully described her experience at the Blackwater Pond. She is currently at the Blackwater Pond. She is there, and the waters have settled. Like the water is calm after a night of rain. When it's raining, you can see what kind of image it creates, not an image but what kind of effect it creates on the waters, on stored water. So after a night of rain, the waters have settled. I dip my cupped hands. You know how to cup your hands when you bring them together to hold water. You may have done that various times. So she dipped her cupped hands. I drink a long time. She takes water in her cupped hands and drinks for a long time. It tastes like stone lives fire. Water does not have a taste, but the taste is felt of the things which fall in the lake. So it tastes like stone, it tastes like leaves, and it tastes like fire. Here the poet might be suggesting towards the forest fire or some kind of man-made activity. It falls cold into my body, waking the bones. When you drink cold water, you can feel the chill inside. So the water feels into her body and it wakes the bones. It's not actually waking the bones, but what she means to say, like, you suddenly feel alive. You can feel it in your bones. I hear them deep inside me whispering. After waking, what do the bones whisper? They say, like, "Oh, what is that beautiful thing that just happened?" Like when that chill went inside her, the bones are whispering, like, what is that beautiful thing that just happened? What happened that the bones suddenly woke up? Very simple, small, and easy poem, but what is it conveying? It conveys the nature, how beautiful it is, and how pretty, how happy or how lively you feel around nature, especially here around water. After the poem, it's time for meanings and exercises. I don't think there were any new words, so there are no need of writing meanings. Let's start with answer the following questions. First, The title, At Blackwater Pond, tells us that the poet is at a certain place. Use at to write a sentence telling where you are now. Answer: I am at home. Currently, due to this lockdown, I hope you all are also at home. Well, if you need to write a sentence telling where you want to be, you can write like I am at cinema or I am at an amusement park, but let's stick to I am at home. Question 2. The poem says, I dip my cupped hands, I drink a long time. It tastes like stone, lives, fire. Question. What tastes like stone, lives, and fire? I already told you the water tastes like stone, lives, and fire. The water that she drank from the pond. Question 3. The poem says, it falls cold into my body, waking the bones. I hear them deep inside me, whispering. What wakes up in the poem, and what do they say when they wake up? Answer: the bones wake up in the poem and they whisper, oh, what is that beautiful thing that just happened? When you feel the chill, the poet is describing it like if your bones can feel it, the bones are waking up. So that was chapter 3. You do not have any other homework for today. You can just go through this or the other subjects, and after that, enjoy your day.